wannabe Hecate. That was awful. What's up, guys? It's Chelsea, the wannabe Hecate. Today I'm here to talk to you about Mercury signs. I did a Moon Signs 101 video and talked about the different signs that the moon can be in and how it acts in those different signs. And now I've decided to do another one for Mercury. As we've discussed in my planets video, Mercury is the planet of communication. It's going to rule how we talk, how we study, how we learn and absorb information. Mercury is the planet of mental energy, so it influences whether your thinking is more linear or whether it's more abstract. If you tend to stick to like a conservative method of thinking, or if you're like super out of the box and like all over the place. So it's time to get your birth chart and figure out what your Mercury sign is if you don't already know what it is. Mine is Scorpio. As always, the times are going to be in the description if there's any sign that you would rather jump to instead of watching the whole video. Instead of going in order today, I am going to be going by the elements of the signs. We can group the 12 signs into 4 different groups based on the elements, which are fire, water, earth, and air. As always though, we will start with Mercury in Aries. If you have Mercury in this fire sign, you're probably very witty, outspoken, and sarcastic. You're also very expressive. You may talk with your hands a lot. You may exaggerate. Mercury and Aries people are very eager to get things done, so they make decisions very quickly and they are very to the point. With this energy, they love to start new projects. They have a lot of enthusiasm, so they might have a lot of different things going on. The issue comes with the follow through. They might not finish the project, they jump to another one and start that, and then before they can finish that one, they've jumped to another one. Mercury and Aries people can be very attached to their ideas, so they can get a little frustrated when other people don't see things the way that Mercury and Aries people see them. They can also get very defensive when people don't agree with them. Mercury and Leo people are going to speak with a lot of passion and flair. Leo is the regal sign of being in the spotlight because Leo is ruled by the sun. So people who have Mercury and Leo are going to naturally command attention. They tend to like theater, they like performing. They also have very good persuasive powers, so they're good at getting their message across to other people. When Mercury and Aries is going to get defensive when someone disagrees with them, Mercury and Leo is instead going to say, okay, well, let me tell you why my way is better and convince you to be on my side. As I said, they like theater, so Mercury and Leo people tend to find success in a creative field. They would definitely rather play than work, but they want to be successful, so they are willing to put that work in to get the success. Mercury and Sagittarius people have very quick and bright methods of communication. They have a commonality with Mercury and Aries people in that they tend to have a lot of different projects going on at the same time, and they jump between them instead of just finishing one and then moving on to another one. Sagittarius is the sign of expansion and growth in the zodiac. So people who have Mercury in Sagittarius tend to be very visionary and they're always looking ahead. They have a very wide scope for looking at the big picture, but they don't tend to be super into the little tiny details. Mercury and Sag people can have problems with being too blunt, but they don't do it with like ill intent. They just kind of speak without thinking and don't have a filter, and they're just kind of like, oh, my bad. I didn't mean anything bad by it. If you have Mercury in the earth sign of Taurus, you are very practical and stable in your methods of communication and learning. You probably have a really good memory. You may also have a tendency to repeat yourself, mainly because you want to make sure that your message has sunk into the other person and they've completely grasped what you're saying. Mercury and Taurus people will take their time coming to their decisions. They want to look at all the sides and weigh all the factors before they come to a conclusion. But because they have that patience, they are very good at seeing things through. Mercury and Taurus is a very slow and steady wins the race kind of mentality. They will learn the best when they see a use for whatever it is that they're trying to absorb. If they don't feel like they can use whatever you're trying to teach them, they're not going to grasp it as well. Every sign in the zodiac rules a different part of your body, and Taurus rules your neck and your vocal cords. So it is said that people with Taurus placements tend to have very nice voices. Same goes for Mercury and Taurus. They do tend to have nice voices. They can also tend to be sarcastic. They're very tell it like it is. Mercury and Virgo people are going to be the people who like dealing with the details. They are very analytical, so they like to deal in facts. No printer, all facts. They're good at organizing things and planning, being on time. The commonality between Mercury and Taurus and Mercury and Virgo is that they both want to know all of the sides before they're going to make up their mind. They have to weigh all all of the factors. If you have Mercury in Virgo, you're probably a quick learner. You're probably also good at memorizing things. These people tend to make good scientists, teachers, researchers. They like very organized study methods. The crux with Mercury in Virgo is that you often tend to take on more work than you should if you have this placement. If you have Mercury in Capricorn, you are probably methodical, careful, and patient. Mercury in Capricorn people really like structure and order, so if they need to, they'll just break things into like smaller, more manageable parts and then just deal with them as they go. People with this placement often have positions of leadership. They can seem strict and they tend to have a dry sense of humor. Highest tendency to be a skeptic is going to be found in people with Mercury in Capricorn, or people just with Capricorn placements in general. I feel like they're just very no frills people. They like to keep it simple for success. If you have Mercury in Gemini, you are probably very quick-witted, maybe a little scattered. You have like a lot of different things going on and a lot of different interests. You want to know like a little about a lot of different things, but you may not know a whole lot about just one thing. Mercury rules Gemini, so Gemini is a very comfortable place for Mercury to be in. These people are generally good public speakers, good debaters, debatists. They're very fast learners, but they do get bored very easily. They need variety to keep them stimulated. Mercury also rules Virgo, which I didn't mention, but the commonality between Mercury in Gemini and Mercury in Virgo is that they're both very analytical. Mercury in Gemini will probably come after Mercury in Capricorn for most skeptical, because people with Mercury in Gemini tend to not believe things if they're not able to see them. Overall, Mercury and Gemini people are very curious, they're very adaptable to different environments, and they like meeting new people. If you have Mercury in the air sign of Libra, you probably have a good intuition and maybe tend to just like know things in like random flashes of insight. Mercury and Libra people always try to be fair, they always try to keep the peace, so they're not super confrontational. They actually work very well in partnerships, and they're good mediators because they're good at seeing the other person's point of view and seeing their side while also maintaining their own. If you have Mercury in Libra, you probably like to list pros and cons and weigh the positives and negatives when you make a decision. You know, Libra is the scales, so you're weighing things. The crux when it comes to Libras is indecisiveness. So if you have Mercury in Libra, you may have a tendency to be indecisive. And these people work really well in partnership, like I said before, and they do the best when they're teamed up with someone who is strong to direct them. They'll also ask for other people's opinions usually when making decisions. If you have Mercury in Aquarius, you are probably a pretty good judge of character. Mercury in Aquarius people tend to have very strong powers of observation. They like intellectual discussion a lot. I've also noticed that they like memes a lot. They communicate in memes more than most other Mercury signs. I'm looking at you, Jason. As I mentioned in the other video that I just filmed before this one, the third episode of analyzing celebrity birth charts, I kind of feel like Aquarius is the little alien of the zodiac. Like they're just always in their little spaceship orbiting in their own little world. So Mercury and Aquarius people can seem eccentric to others. They can like to say things that shock other people. They like enjoy doing that. They just have their own sense of order and their own way of doing things. Aquarius is also like the technical futuristic sign of the zodiac, which is associated with like technology. People with Mercury and Aquarius are usually attracted to like scientific pursuits or engineering and things like that. If you have Mercury in the water sign of Cancer, you're probably very thoughtful and very sensitive to what others think. Mercury and Cancer people are chameleons in that they are very adaptable to different personalities and different people from all walks of life. Cancer is one of the more sentimental signs in the zodiac, so people with Mercury and Cancer tend to have a great memory and hold on to those feelings and things that make them feel safe. These people come off very gentle and intuitive. They're usually really good listeners. If you have Mercury in Cancer, you probably like to approach your problems in a step-by-step way and just feel things out. They're usually successful as historians, teachers, and writers. Mercury in Scorpio. This is like the private investigator placement when it comes to astrology. Mercury and Scorpio people like to research things. They really like getting to the heart of things. When it comes to Scorpio as a zodiac sign, it tends to be associated with like seeing underneath the surface and wanting to explore things that are hidden. So Mercury and Scorpio people have really good powers of observation, and they're very good at strategizing. They're just like super driven to win. They're also very private investigator in that they work better on their own. When I think of Mercury and Scorpio, I just think of those like noir detective films where it's just like one guy working a case like all on his own. He doesn't have a partner or anything. People with this placement tend to be very good with words, but they also can be very sarcastic. A lot of them will go into the fields of medicine or science or the occult, which I have Mercury in Scorpio, and I communicate, which Mercury is the planet of communication, on things that are considered occult, tarot, and astrology. Astrology is real. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. If you have Mercury in Pisces, you're probably very sensitive to your surroundings and your environment. You may even feel like a sponge, like you can just soak up other people's emotions. In this way, you also have a very deep sympathy for others and you're very compassionate. It's said that Pisces people can just put themselves in other people's shoes very easily. Probably come across as very dreamy and gentle. If you have Mercury in Pisces, you probably don't really like to make lists or anything like that. You may even seem like unorganized to other people, but like you know where everything is and like there's like a method to the mess. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned a little bit more about yourself maybe, or perhaps you heard things you already knew and you just learned why you were like that. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, what the heck? I'm kidding, but if you're not following me on Instagram, that is where all the magic happens. I post a lot of tarot readings over there and oracle cards and things like that. It's super fun. I have been trying to post them on YouTube as well, but sometimes it's just hard for me to film another video and edit it and get it posted. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please do. I also have a Ko-fi. I'm accepting tips for my work on these videos as well as all the tarot stuff that I do on Instagram. I am also offering $10 birth chart interpretations, so if you're interested in that, look in the description. There'll be more info for that down there. You can also DM me on my social media, or my email is going to be right here. I edited it in. I will be back next week probably. I'm going out of town this weekend to go hang out in the woods with some of my friends. I'm really excited. Thank you for watching my videos. Saranghae, which means I love you in Korean. I will talk to you guys soon. Love you, bye!